Hold up, I am on my way, I'm in motion. Let's go to the ocean. Yeah, let's go outside. We can hang out on the beach without freezing. Yeah, isn't that amazing? In Christmas times, we'll be chilling and having a good time. Doesn't matter if the snow is falling or the wind blows and the rain is pouring. It will always be Christmas in my heart. But this year I wanna...
Welcome to Crafty Beach. This is Julie. Today we're going to make 4 coastal Christmas DIYs using supplies from the Dollar Tree. So let's get started. Our first DIY is going to be a coral reef, R-E-E-F. And I'm going to use some of these little reef forms from the Dollar Tree. These are like the 3D ones. It's a great way to get like 4 wreath forms for only $1.25. And so I'm just going to pick one of the inside ones. And it's just a plain ring, which is what I want. I want something sturdy, but something that's not really going to stand out because I want to use these little Christmas tree ornaments from the Dollar Tree to make it look like coral. Now they do have these little tabs on them with holes on them. Super easy to pull off, and that's what I'm doing. I'm just using a pair of pliers to pull both those off. Now these are my favorite Christmas ornaments from the Dollar Tree, and we're going to be using a total of 7 packages of these today to make this wreath. So if you see them, grab them all. I had to go to a couple stores to get enough packages to make this, but I love these every year because I think they look like coral, not Christmas trees. So I'm just going to kind of see how many I'm going to need. They are white and they have glitter on them, but we are going to dress these up a little bit and make them a little bit more my style. I really wanted a coastal wreath for my home. So I think that's going to be enough, but I think I do add one more package. I think it was a total of 7 packages that we end up using today. Now, since they're trees, they have the tree trunk. So I just need to find a way to get that off, and they're made out of plastic, so I'm just using some scissors to kind of cut those off. That way it looks like coral without like something sticking out of it, right? So I wanted to do like a beautiful wreath for the wall that looks like a coral reef, and it's all blues and whites, and so that's what we're going to do for this coral reef today. Now, once I'm like getting to the end, it just kept getting harder and harder. And I'm like, you know what? They're plastic. And they were actually easier to break off with my fingers than with the scissors. So there you go. So there I am adding my last package. I decided to add a couple more. And I'm going to keep 4 in the white glitter. That's fine. I don't really like glitter. But for Christmas, we can definitely get away with it. It'll make it look kind of like icicles. So I'm going to paint the other 10. So I'm going to go ahead and lay these out. Now you will have glitter everywhere because again, these are covered in glitter, but we're going to paint them. So I'm going to mix a couple colors of blue together. This is Caribbean blue and ivory, about half and half. I'm just going to get a nice beachy color of blue. I actually have found this shade of blue at Walmart, the apple barrel. I think it was called Cloudless, and it's great. So I'm just going to go in with a brush so I can get in all the little nooks and crannies of our coral, and I'm going to paint them all. Now I'm not going to bother painting the back. I'm just going to paint one side. That's basically all you're going to be able to see. I had this wreath idea in my mind, and I just love the way it turned out. It's so beautiful. So I get them all painted, and I'm going to give them a quick dry with my heat gun, and then we can start putting this together. Now there is a hole on the end because of course it was an ornament, so I thought I would take advantage of that. I was trying to figure out if I should use string, wire. I ended up going with these little teeny tiny zip ties from the hardware section at the Dollar Tree. And I'm just going to put it through the hole on the ornament and then zip tie that to the reform. That way I don't have to wrap wire around. It's not going to be very much to hide if I were to use wire or something else. But then I realized you could see the dark green reef form behind the coral, and I really don't want you to be able to see that. So I'm going to go ahead and just paint the wire reform the same color that we did the coral. That way it's all going to blend in. It's not going to be real of an eyesore back there. So it did take a couple coats to paint that wire, but I'm glad I did it because if you don't do it at this step, you're not going to be able to do it probably. So I'm just going to cut off my zip tie and then keep building. I'm going to do the same thing on the next one, and I'm just going to overlap like this all the way around the reef. Now the zip tie keeps it pretty secure, but that's only like one side of the ornament. So I do hot glue the top of that one to the zip tie area on the other one. After I get it zip tied down, I do that on all of them. It was a little hard to find a spot to hot glue them together, but I think this helped because it made it a lot more sturdy. So we're just going to keep doing that all the way around. I thought about reversing directions when I got about here and doing it, but then I kind of liked the flow it was giving me, so I decided to keep going in the same direction and do the other 5 on this side. Isn't it pretty so far? And then instead of like, I wanted to do like leaves or something like that to decorate it, I'm going to use those other 4 coral pieces to decorate it with more coral because you can't have enough, right? So it worked out just perfectly, 10 of these going around this reform. And then the only thing I have to touch up is that little black zip tie. I touch them all up with blue paint so it kind of all blends into our blue coral as well. It's looking pretty. Now on these, they have the little holes on them like before, and I thought that might be visible. And so I want to kind of put them on the bottom like this, but I don't want you to see those holes. So I just go in and try to cut the little ornament holes off of each one of these, just so you won't be able to see it. And then I'm just going to kind of gather these towards the bottom of the reef, kind of as a statement down there. And we're going to decorate that a little bit further too. And I'm just going to hot glue these on coral to coral. Just trying to find a good spot. They kind of have a side that's a little flatter than the other, and I'm kind of doing the flat side down. And I'm kind of trying to splay them out a little bit so they kind of stick out from the rest of the coral. So they kind of stand out a little bit. And I love the little touch of glitter here. I think that's great. If you wanted to leave the whole thing white glitter though, it would still be really pretty. I really wanted to bring in some beachy blue though. Now to decorate it, we're going to use a Dollar Tree, a sand dollar from the Shore Living line, and 2 of their starfish from the Shore Living line. If you weren't lucky enough to get these at Dollar Tree, you can always pick these up on Amazon pretty cheap. And I'm going to paint them though to make them look a little bit better. And so I thought I would make the starfish kind of a little bit lighter color of blue than I did the other one. So I just mixed a little bit more ivory with that Caribbean blue, and we're doing a very soft blue. I thought it would provide a little bit of contrast on both one of those starfish. And then I'm going to paint the sand dollar ivory because those sand dollars from Dollar Tree are a little bit gray. It makes them look a little fake. So just painting all 3 of those, and those are going to be the perfect decorations. I'm not doing anything like Christmassy per se on this, but it looks Christmassy. I don't know if it's the white glitter, the blue and white. I really love blue for Christmas. I had a grandma that did blue for Christmas, and I always loved it as a child. So I'm just attaching the sand dollar and both starfish with hot glue. And that's all there is to this DIY. Oh, I love how this turned out. It's so beachy and so beautiful. And I'm not going to attach a ribbon or anything. I'm just going to use the reform to hang this in my house. And I love it. Let me show you how it looks hanging in my house. I thought it'd be really fun to do a contest today too. I want you to vote on your favorite DIY. So this is DIY number 1, and you can vote in the comments below. I'd like to find out which DIY you like the best. So this is DIY number 1. Have you got a chance to subscribe to my second YouTube channel? It's called Crafty Little Beach. I'll post a link below, and it's all my Crafty Beach fun in 1 minute or less. So check that out. And on to our next Christmas DIY. I'm going to use one of these triangle frames, I guess they're called, from the Dollar Tree. And I thought we can make this into a really fun coastal Christmas tree. So I'm kind of looking for a weak point because I want to pull that back off of that great triangular shaped frame. I always pick these up when I see them because I think they make great Christmas trees. And so once I get that off, you can see the paper is like really glued on. So I'm kind of sanding that off so that you can't see any of the paper, but it was really hard to sand all of it off. And underneath is that MDF anyway. I always like to paint that because it's not quite as pretty as the wood they have on the inside and outside. And so I'm just using Caribbean blue. We're going to make this one a little bit darker blue than the others. I like to use different beachy colors of blue for Christmas. And I'm just using a tiny brush, and I'm going to go ahead and do it on both sides because this is going to be a project that's going to be kind of pretty from both sides. I'm not putting a backpack on it. It's going to be a see-through Christmas tree. It's okay if some of the wood shows through when I paint like that because I like it to look a little beachy. Now I'm going to take 2 wood beads. I got these on Amazon. They are probably just a medium-sized bead, I'd say. And I'm just going to paint them with that same Caribbean blue color, wiping off any excess paint. That kind of leaves some of the wood showing through, which I think makes it look even beachier and just makes it easier because, you know, painting beads is not that much fun. Then I thought I would use another one of these sand dollars from the Dollar Tree, and we're going to paint this one ivory as well, just like we did on the coral reef. Now, this one is going to be hanging inside the Christmas tree, and so I'm going to go ahead and paint the other side as well in case you can see it from the back to make it look a little bit better. And that always makes them look a little bit more high-end. And my goal here is I thought I would hang it like an ornament inside the Christmas tree, and I thought wood beads would make it even prettier. So I'm just going to take some twine from the Dollar Tree and a couple of these wood beads. These are the wood beads from the Dollar Tree. These are like the fall wood beads. You can use whatever you have. I'm using 2 natural little ones, right? And if it's hard to thread those, you can always put a little hot glue on the tip of your twine. And then I'm just kind of doing a pattern of blue, natural, natural, blue, natural, natural. I thought it was going to be too long, so I took off one blue. And then I'm tying that on to the hole that's in the sand dollar. And then I'm like, you know, I might be able to fit that blue one on there after all. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and tie it off. And basically we just made a little sand dollar Christmas ornament to hang inside the Christmas tree. Now I need to attach it in the very tippy top of the Christmas tree. And I just glue that top wood bead on with hot glue. Trying to make sure hot glue doesn't go everywhere, but I want that to be really secure so it stays in there. And the little seahorse dangles down inside of our little Christmas tree. You kind of have to mess with it to make it hang the way you want it to. And there it is. Now our Christmas tree needs a little bit more decoration, so let's keep building. I thought about using one of the white starfish from the Dollar Tree for the top, but I thought it would be too much. So I'm going to use one of these little tiny blue starfish. I get these on Amazon. I'll post a link below. And it's kind of the perfect color. It's kind of the perfect size. So I'm just going to glue this on the top. And we have a little Christmas star for the top of our tree, but it's not too much. Now I wanted to do some kind of a tree trunk that would be kind of sturdy. So I'm going to use some of this Dollar Tree craft wood. And I was trying to decide how to do it. I just decided to cut off a little piece. I want it to be, you know, kind of sturdy. I don't want it to fall over. And I was trying to decide if I wanted to leave it flat like that or kind of turn it up on its side. So I kind of experimented with what was going to stand up. And I really liked it kind of up on its side. I thought it made it look a little bit more like a tree trunk that way. I'm just going to leave it natural wood like that and hot glue that onto the center of the bottom of our Christmas tree like that. And there it is, our second DIY, a little coastal Christmas tree. This was so easy, and I think it turned out so pretty. What do you think? So this is going to be a project number 2 that you can vote for in the comments below. Our little coastal Christmas tree with a little sand dollar ornament hanging inside. I think it's really precious. It's very simple but beautiful. Hey guys, have you joined my Facebook group? I'll post a link below. You're going to love seeing what all the other Crafty Beach Moms are working on. It's a fun group, and we would love to have you there. I'm also on Instagram, TikTok, and Pinterest at Crafty Beach on YouTube, and I would love to connect with you on any of or all of those platforms. Okay, our next DIY. I'm going to use 2 of these wood rounds from the Dollar Tree. And I wanted to make a fun hanger, Christmas hanging for my garage door. So I'm going to take the hanger off one. I only need the hanger on one of them because the reason I'm going to use 2 of them is to make it thicker. And then I'm going to use some of these Jingle bells from the Dollar Tree and some of this white rope from the Dollar Tree as well. Now, you've probably seen me do this. I did this in my Halloween video when I made the moon, the baddie moon. I think this is a really great way to make those cheap Dollar Tree signs seem bigger because it makes them so much thicker. So I'm just hot gluing that rope all the way around the inside of the bottom sign. And so it's going to give me a coastal touch because you'll be able to see the white rope from the sides. And it makes the piece more substantial. It makes it look less cheap. So that one's good. We can set the back aside and we can start working on the front piece. Now, I don't need the holes in there that were there from the hanger, so I'm just going to fill those in with a little bit of spackle and we can decorate this. I wanted to do a jingle bell tree on this, but I also wanted it to look coastal and beachy for Christmas. So I'm going to mix together that same color, Caribbean blue and ivory, about half and half, and I'm going to paint this. It doesn't take much paint. This raw wood from the Dollar Tree is so easy to paint. And if you're having trouble finding these, I bought a whole case of these wood rounds on dollartree.com, had them shipped for free to my store, and I even used a discount code on Coupon Cabin, and I got $50 cash back on 50. So great deal, right? Now, once I get it all painted blue, I'm going to go in with a little ivory and a chunky brush from Dollar Tree. And we're just going to slightly distress this, like in one direction. I always like doing that. It always gives me a nice beachy feel. And then wiping off any of the excess paint with a baby wipe, kind of blending it all in and just making it look very coastal. It's a vibe. And then we can put these together. So to do this, I'm going to use hot glue. You have to work quickly if you're going to use hot glue because you don't want it to harden up. So it's kind of like, make sure there's glue in your gun. So I put glue all the way around on the rope, and then I'm just going to sandwich the rope in between the 2 signs, and we have a nice, thick sign to start with. And it's a great size too. Now, if you have hot glue everywhere like I kind of did, I'm just kind of cleaning it up with my heat gun to get any that had went over the edges. And these are the Jingle bells we're going to use. They're 20 in a package. They're kind of a medium-sized one. I've noticed they have all different sizes this year and colors. So these are the silver ones, the 20 count. And I actually got these in the Crafter Square instead of in the Christmas aisle. I don't know why. They were just there. So they were the right size I wanted, and I thought I would make a little Jingle bell Christmas tree. And for the top, I want a starfish. This is another one of those blue starfish, but this is the white version. I also get these on Amazon. I'll post a link to those as well. And it's the perfect size for a tree topper for a little Jingle bell Christmas tree. So I'm kind of trying to figure out how many rows I want. I end up going with more rows than I think I'm going to, but I'm just kind of laying it out to kind of get an idea of how many I'm going to need. And I do have to open another package, and actually I end up doing one more row than that. So let's start putting it together. I'm going to start just by hot gluing the starfish to the top in the center. And then I'm going to glue a jingle bells for each row of our Christmas tree. So the top one, of course, is going to have one jingle bell, and I am gluing it down with a little loop that holds like the ribbon against the wood, and it actually hot glued down really well. And then I'm kind of making sure that it's kind of at a diagonal. That way I can kind of make sure all the jingle bells are going the same direction. So 2 in the second row, 3 in the third row, and I kind of do the in-between ones first and do the outer ones. Now, I'm trying to fill up like this whole round side with a Christmas tree, so I kind of have them spaced out. I'm going to do a really chunky Christmas tree, but if you wanted to do like a skinnier Christmas tree, or if you were doing this on a rectangular sign or something like that, you could definitely put these closer together and you're going to have more of a traditional Christmas tree shape. Now, I thought this would be really fun because the jingle bells will actually ring when you move the sign. So I thought this would be a great like wall hanging for something that moves, like our garage door. So when you open it and shut, you're going to get jingle bells. I'll let you know later if it's annoying. If it's annoying, then we'll move it to a wall for sure. But I'm just going each row, I'm just gluing one more jingle bell on, and I guess I'm doing it tighter than I had laid out before because when I get to the end, I'm like, I need more jingle bells. So I do use my second package and add another row of jingle bells. So just make sure your hot glue is dry before you let go of them to make sure they stay attached. At first I was going to drill holes in it to glue that down in more securely, but this actually worked really well. I think they're going to stay on there. I used the Gorilla Glue hot glue from Amazon, and it works really well. It's really strong. So this is the last row, and we have our little Christmas tree. Nice chunky Christmas tree. Then I thought driftwood would be great for the tree trunk, and so I had a piece, but it was way too long. So I'm just going to go cut that with my saw, and we'll have a little driftwood base to our Christmas tree. So I'm just going to glue that on with some hot glue, and then the only thing we'll have left to do is presents. I thought we should have some kind of presents underneath the Christmas tree, and I thought like the beachiest thing would be to have some seashells. So we're going to decorate some seashells, just trying to get rid of any of those little strings of hot glue that might be on the sign, and it actually wasn't that bad. And these are those little tiny seashells from the Dollar Tree that come in the little glass bottles. And I'm just going to kind of mix them up. I'm kind of like wanting like the white and the brown. And so I'm picking out different ones and kind of just randomly putting them on there like little presents to go under the Christmas tree. I thought this was the final little beachy touch that this DIY needed. And I think it turned out really fun. So I end up doing like a total of 5. I was going to do 4, but I kind of kept going here once I got all these on here. And I have trouble. My hot glue gun does dispense a lot of hot glue, so you might want to use one of the finer tip hot glue guns if you have it. But we got it to work. And so there's our presents. Now the only thing I didn't like was that white starfish. I thought was a little too white, so I'm just going to go in with some ivory paint and a tiny brush and just touch that up because you know I love my ivory. And I think this turned out so fun. I really like it. I'd seen like a Christmas tree jingle bell sign, and I thought that I could like really do something to make it my own and make it coastal and beachy. Now I thought the string for the top was kind of plain, so I'm going to take some of the starfish ribbon from the Shore Living at Dollar Tree, but you could also use like the blue Let It Snow ribbon from the Christmas section, same color, but I thought starfish would be fun. I'm just going to tie a very simple bow just to decorate the top of the string and give it a little bit more of a colorful festive touch up here. I just need to attach that to the string that hangs it, and I'm just going to do that with twine. When I tie my bow like that, I have to do it kind of upside down there in the middle, and so there's no pattern there. So I'm just going to wrap that twine around again and again and tie that off, kind of covering up that center section of the ribbon and tying it all together. And it kind of covers like the hanger like almost completely when I have it hanging on my door. So there it is. That is our third coastal Christmas DIY today. And it jingles, which is so festive and fun for Christmas. And this is how it looks hanging on my door. And if you want to vote for this DIY, this is DIY number 3. And this is how it turned out. What do you think? I think it's really fun. Hey guys, I wanted to take a moment to ask you to thumbs up this video if you're enjoying it. And if you haven't subscribed, I'd really appreciate it. And don't forget to hit the bell to get notified whenever I post new videos. Okay, it's our last coastal Christmas DIY. I'm using a birthday party hat from the Dollar Tree, burlap, and ribbon also from the Dollar Tree, and we are going to make a really fun coastal burlap Christmas tree. Now I'm going to cut the little tinsel off the end of our birthday hat. I did have to go to 2 Dollar Trees to find birthday hats for some reason, but these are those big giant birthday hats from the party section at Dollar Tree, and I thought that would make a really nice Christmas tree. So I'm trying to get the tinsel off the bottom. I don't know what they had that glued down with because I had a terrible time getting it off. And so I do give up and end up just cutting a small sliver of the bottom of the hat off just to avoid fighting with getting all that glued tinsel off. And it didn't make it too much shorter. Now, if you can't find a party hat, you could always use the poster board from the Dollar Tree and make your own cone, but I thought this was a step saver. We have a nice shape for a Christmas tree. Now this is the burlap from the Dollar Tree. I love it. If you can't find it there, I'm sure you can find it at other craft departments, but I love it. Now the only thing is, it is really hard to go around a cone shape with something like this. And so there's kind of a strategy you have to use a ribbon like this on a cone shape. So I was trying to figure it out. I actually had to go online and research it because I was like, I know there's a way to do this. I've seen burlap Christmas trees. So it's harder than the rope, I think. But I will show you how and take you through all the steps. So I'm going to start at the bottom and I'm going to glue on the ribbon to get started. And then we are just going to glue this straight all along the bottom of the party hat, just kind of attaching it at the bottom because the bottom is going to be flush. You don't have to worry about the bottom. It's the top of the ribbon that you have to worry about because of course it's too big because the shape goes in. So once I'm just going to go ahead and secure it all along the bottom first. So I go all the way around, hot gluing one section at a time. And I'm not worrying about the underneath. I got the gold because I thought it would blend in with my burlap. And you can barely see it through the burlap, but if you get a colorful one, you might want to paint your party hat first so that you can't see it through the burlap because the burlap, of course, has holes. Now I'm going to start by gluing the top down and get as far as I can before it starts pushing way far out, right, from the tree. So then I cut a slit in it like that. And you have to overlap that to get that to lay flat. So I'm going to glue that part down. It creates like a pleat, I guess, where it kind of makes it, you can kind of tell in the final project, but it still looks really cool. It kind of gives it a little bit more interest. So then I glue it down straight again until it starts sticking really far out from the Christmas tree. And then I'm going to go in and hot glue that down. When I first started, I would glue down that part and then glue down this part. But once I get going, I just start gluing this part because, you know, it has holes in it, so it's going to automatically glue the one underneath of it down as well. And I just got to keep doing that all the way around. So that's what makes it a little bit more labor intensive, is that you have to do all these little extra steps instead of just wrapping it around like you do with rope. Now, I have some of the rope Christmas trees already that I've made and I've purchased, and so I kind of wanted to do something different. I thought burlap would be really beachy and really fun, and I do love how it turned out. But I was a little not sure if I was going to be able to pull it off, but I definitely did. I read a great blog that really helped me out. So now I'm going to start wrapping it around and doing a second row, just overlapping it slightly, just continuing with that same roll. That burlap roll ended up doing the entire Christmas tree, so that was great. We've only got like $2.50 invested in this so far. And so I just keep doing that same thing. I hot glue on the bottom, and then I start hot gluing on the top, and then I cut a slit and glue that overlap over. You kind of, it's just a random thing where you're going to need to cut, and you can kind of feel it out and know. Sometimes you even have to cut a little bit deeper down, like the higher that you go up, to kind of get more of a fold. And we're just going to keep doing that all the way around the Christmas tree. Now that gold shiny material that's under the Christmas hat, you can slightly see it through once I'm done putting the burlap on there, but we're going to decorate this Christmas tree, of course. So after I decorate it, I don't think you can really see it through there at all. So this is just patience, because it is actually a pretty big Christmas tree, and just doing all of the cutting and the pleating. I don't think it's called pleating. What's it called? I'm sure there's a word for it. And going all the way up to the tippity top and covering up the top of the cone. I was trying to think, they didn't have any of the Christmas tree, plastic forms. And so I was trying to think of something I could use from the Dollar Tree, and I was really glad that I decided on party hats, because it actually worked really well, and it's a great size. It's not like real skinny like the little, or small like the little foam cones that they have there. And so when I get to the top, I'm just gonna kind of cut off the excess fabric and glue it together, pinch it all together for a little tip on the top of our little burlap Christmas tree. And then if you get any hot glue that you shouldn't get, I'm just going to burn mine off a little bit, melt it in with my heat gun and make it less obvious. And this is the Christmas tree we've got so far. So you can see the little pleats in it, but it's all covered in burlap in a swirly fashion. And it's looking really beachy and really cool. So let's decorate this Christmas tree. I'm going to use some of this, I don't even know what it's called, this ribbon from the Dollar Tree. They have it in several different colors. I think it kind of looks like fishnet. So that's what we're going to do with it. We're going to make a fishnet garland for our Christmas tree. And I chose the ivory color because I thought it would contrast against the burlap. But they also have this like in a tan color. And I think another color as well, but I only buy the tan and the ivory. So I want to use it as garland. Now I'm going to just glue it on, but I'm only going to glue the center part of the ribbon down. So I start at the top, and I'm just going to go around it in a diagonal fashion, going around and around, and I'm only attaching it to the middle part. So I just do a bead of hot glue on the middle part of that and stick that on there. The reason I'm not gluing the whole thing down is because I don't want to worry about the cutting and the folding and the stuff like that. And we're going to kind of work with it a little bit to make it work for the shape of our Christmas tree. So I just keep going with that, swirly swirl all the way around our Christmas tree until we get to the bottom. Then I'm just going to cut that off and glue the last piece down. Now once I have it like that, it's covering quite a bit of the burlap up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and fold it. So since the top half of the ribbon is not attached to the burlap, I can fold that down, and it's going to give it a tighter grip against the tree and make it not stick out so much. So I just go around the whole Christmas tree and fold that top half down. Kind of provides a little bit more texture and makes it look a little crazier. Now I'm going to glue that pleat down on the top and the bottom pieces just to finish that off, and that's what we have so far. So that looks a lot better like that. And then we just need to decorate this. I thought Christmas ornaments, I could use these little wood ocean creatures from the Shore Living line at Dollar Tree and make little ornaments. Now, if you're not lucky enough to have picked these up this spring or summer, you can use like the little laser cut ones as well that are from Crafter Square. They have a lot of great sea creatures as well, fish and sea turtles. That would totally work as well. Or you could even use like wood beads, or any of the shiny beads from the crafter square would be really pretty too. But I wanted to do sea creatures. So I have sea turtles, I have dolphins, and I have seashells. So I thought I would mix it up and do all three. And so I chose 3 of each one. And now we're going to paint them blue, of course. So for the turtles, I mixed together Caribbean blue and ivory, kind of the same color we've been using a lot today. And using a makeup sponge is a great way to paint these little pieces very simply, and you don't have to worry about getting paint all over the edges. Now, I thought it would be fun to paint each of the sea creatures maybe a slightly different shade of blue. So I just added like a different color of blue. I think that was called lake or something like that for the dolphins. And then for the seashells, I'm going to go in and add like a different color of blues and maybe a little turquoise, just to make them look slightly different, but all beachy blue colors, just for fun. And I'm just using that same makeup sponge on all of them to paint it. Now I'm just going to dry them. I'm not going to worry about the backs. I don't think you're going to be able to see the back of them. And I'm just going to go ahead and start decorating our Christmas tree. Now, you know I like that beachy touch, so I do go in here with a little ivory, I forgot, and distress them with a chunky brush just to make them look a little bit more coastal. Just a dry brush so you get very little on there. Then you don't have to worry about going back in there and wiping off any excess. And I think that really does add to it. So we have a total of 9 of the little sea creatures. And now we can decorate our Christmas tree. So I thought we could just use these like ornaments all the way around. It's going to be another fun beachy touch to our Christmas tree. And we're just going to attach those with hot glue. So I just start grabbing the different shapes, and I'm just going to randomly start putting them on the burlap. I thought about putting them in with the fishing net, but I thought they would kind of stand out more if they were just on the burlap like that. And so just kind of mixing them up. So shell, dolphin, sea turtle, and kind of making it when any direction you're looking at it, you're going to see like a variety of things. And just going around all of the areas that are like exposed burlap and just kind of spreading those out. I do make sure that the front that I have picked out, like, has full coverage. The back doesn't have to, but I really had enough to pretty much cover everything here. Just kind of randomly spacing those out. Maybe I could have used one more. And I thought this was a fun little touch to this Christmas tree. And even though the burlap was a little bit of work, I really love it because I do not have any burlap Christmas trees. And I think it's going to be really fun for Christmas. So this is what it looks like so far. Just cleaning up any hot glue that I have anywhere that's that stringy hot glue. Now, I noticed when I was doing that you could see some of the bottom of the hat around the edges. So I will finish that up, but first we're going to work on a tree topper. So this is one of the starfish from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to paint it ivory because it's white. And it's fine white, but I think it looks like, it is plastic. So I think it just makes it look more like plastic. And when I paint it ivory, I think it makes it look more real. Now, since this is going to be the topper for our tree, I have to paint both sides because you're going to be able to see it from the sides as well. And these could not be any easier to paint. They paint so easy and dry really quickly. But I'm going to go ahead and dry that and set that aside and start covering up that little tiny bit of party hat that you can see there around the edges, just with some Dollar Tree rope. I just had a spare piece of scrap piece of this brown rope from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to hot glue that all the way around. It's going to provide another little coastal touch or, texture, and it's going to serve the point of covering that up, but it also makes it a little heavier because this project's not very heavy with the paper hat, and so it adds a little bit more weight to the bottom of the tree as well, which I think helps the project a little bit. You could always go in there and stuff it as well if you needed to. Now I'm going to attach our starfish tree topper to the top with some more hot glue and just hold it on there until it is dry. And it turned out great. I just love it. Just trying to get any extra hot glue off of it. And this is our little burlap coastal Christmas tree with all its little sea creatures on there. I really like this DIY as well. I hope you do too. If you would like to vote for this DIY in today's comments, be sure to comment number 4 below, and I would love to see which one of these DIYs today was your favorite DIY. And also, I want to find out who's watching still. So comment your favorite emoji of a sea creature below so I know you're still watching. Hey guys, I wanted to thank the following Crafty Beach Bums for sending me super thanks under my videos. I appreciate you guys so much. You really help support a small channel like mine. I have 10,000 subscribers, but not getting very many views yet. So hopefully soon. And also for these Crafty Beach Bums for buying me a coffee. I always have a link below, and I appreciate you all so much. So are you ready for the final reveal? Here we go.
Hold up, I am on my way, I'm in motion. Let's go to the ocean. Yeah, let's go outside. We can hang out on the beach without freezing. Yeah, isn't that amazing? In Christmas times, we'll be chilling and having a good time. Doesn't matter if the snow is falling or the windows in the rain is pouring. It will always be Christmas in my heart. But this year I wanna hang out with my friends and family, making angels in the sand. You and me. Doesn't matter, it's Christmas in my heart. And I can promise Santa's coming to visit. No, he wouldn't miss this in Christmas times. Oh, and
Thank you so much for watching. If you want to watch another Coastal Christmas DIY video of mine, click this video here to go there now.